Let's check out the questions. How will you separate a mixture containing kerosene and petrol, difference in their boiling point is more than 25 degrees Celsius, which are miscible with each other? Answer. We can separate a mixture containing kerosene and petrol by distillation technique since difference in their boiling points is more than 25 degrees Celsius. So, through distillation, we can get them separated. Next question. Name the technique to separate butter from curd. That is centrifugation method. Salt from seawater, evaporation method, camphor from salt, that is sublimation method. Next question. What type of mixtures are separated by the technique of crystallization? Answer. From impure samples of solids, pure solid crystals can be obtained by the method of crystallization. For example, to obtain pure sugar from impure sample of the same. To understand the difference between a pure substance and mixture, we have to learn the difference between a physical and a chemical change. When we observe different kind of changes around us, like suppose if you forget to keep the milk inside the fridge in summers, what happens? It gets rancid. Likewise, when you keep ice out of the refrigerator, you observe the water around it and finally the ice gets converted into water. So these are all the changes that are taking place around us. But some changes can be reversed, like water can be converted back to ice, but rancid food item cannot be made fresh again. So let us learn in detail about these changes. First one, the difference between the physical change and the chemical change. Physical change in physical state of a substance, whereas chemical change both physical and chemical properties of the substances, including the composition. For example, boiling of water, curing a piece of paper, breaking of a glass tumbler, glowing of bulb, sublimation of camphor, magnetizing iron, all these are examples of physical change. Next, chemical change means it changes both physical and chemical properties of the substances, including composition. Examples are burning firewood, rusting of iron, ripening of fruits, burning of fuels, baking, etc. In physical change, second difference, no new substance is formed. What about here? In the chemical change, always accompanied by one or more new substances. Next is, here the change is temporary. Here the change is permanent. A physical change cannot produce energy during the process. A chemical change, it produces energy during the process in terms of heat, sound and light. It's easily reversible, that's original substance can be recovered. Here in chemical changes are irreversible, that means original substance cannot be recovered. When a substance undergoes a physical change, its composition remains the same despite its molecules being rearranged. When a substance undergoes a chemical change, its molecular composition is changed entirely. Thus, chemical changes involve the formation of new substances. So these are some of the differences between the physical change and the chemical change. Let's check out, during burning of a candle, both physical and chemical changes takes place. Can you distinguish this? Burning of a candle involves two changes, that's physical and chemical change. As you know, candle is made up of wax. So some wax melts and resolidifies on cooling as wax. So here the solid change into liquid. And this liquid again change into solid state. So no change in chemical composition. So only change in appearance. That's the physical change. Now, when it is burnt, it involves a chemical reaction and it gives new substances like water vapor, carbon soot, carbon dioxide, heat and light. So, burning of a candle involves both physical and chemical changes. Let's check out the questions. Classify the following as chemical or physical changes. Cutting of trees. Obviously, the change of state, no chemical reaction takes place, so cutting of trees, physical change. Melting of butter in a pan, that's a physical change. Rusting of almara, that is chemical change. Boiling of water to form steam, that's physical change. Passing an electric current through water. Passing of electric current through water and the water breaking down into hydrogen and oxygen, that's a chemical change. Next one, dissolving common salt in water, that's physical change. Making a fruit salad with raw fruits, obviously it's a physical change. Burning of paper and wood, chemical change. Next question, try segregating the things around you as pure substance or mixtures. For example, water, let's consider water, it's a pure substance. Milk, it's a mixture. LPG, that's a mixture. Bread, it's a mixture. Gold, it's a pure substance. Kerosene oil, mixture. 24 karat gold is pure, but 22 karat is not pure because we are adding the alloys, either copper or silver. Next, air, it's a mixture. Paper, it's a mixture. Common salt, it's a pure substance. Soda water is a mixture. Sugar, pure substance. Lemon juice, mixture, etc. Let's learn what are the types of pure substances. On the basis of their chemical composition, substances can be classified either as elements or compounds. As you know, both elements and compounds, they are the pure substances. Pure substances mean they are the ones that are made up of only one type of particles. Let's learn in detail about the difference between the elements and the compounds. Elements, pure substances that has only one kind of atom. Compounds, it consists of fixed number of different kinds of atoms chemically combined together. Examples, carbon, oxygen, iron, silver, etc. Compounds, example, pure water, crystal of salt, carbon dioxide, gas, etc. They cannot be broken down into simpler substances. Element. Here, compounds, they can be separated into simpler substances by chemical methods. There are 118 elements known to mankind, and these can be divided into three types: metals, non-metals and metalloids. We are going to learn. Compounds, there is no upper limit on the type of compounds that can be formed. So here, metals, non-metals, metalloids. Metals, examples, iron, copper, sodium, calcium, etc. Non-metals, carbon, silicon, phosphorus, that's a solid, liquid, bromine, gas, hydrogen, chlorine, etc. Metalloids. So let's check out what are metalloids. Metalloids are the elements that have intermediate properties between those of metals and non-metals. For example, boron, germanium, silicon, arsenic, antimony, etc. Next, we are going to learn about the difference of metals and properties of metals and non-metals. Metals are generally solids, exception mercury, gallium. Non-metals are found in all three states. Metals are hard and non-brittle, exception sodium, potassium and lead, which are soft. Solid non-metals are hard but brittle. Third, metals are heavy exception sodium, potassium, magnesium, etc. Non-metals are generally light in weight. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, exception lead. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity, except graphite. They are ductile and malleable. Ductile means metals can be drawn out into long wires, so this property is called ductility. And malleable means metal can be hammered into thin sheets, this property is called malleability. Here they are neither ductile nor malleable. Their melting point and boiling point are generally high. Their melting and boiling point are generally low. They generally produce ringing sound on collision. That means sonority. Metals are sonorous, that is they make a ringing sound when hit. This property of metals is known as sonority. Here non-metals, they do not produce ringing sound. They are generally lustrous. That means metal, they have shiny appearance and can be polished. They are generally non-lustrous and cannot be polished. Some metals, they are solidity at room temperature. There are more properties. Metals with the exception of mercury, they are solid at room temperature. And mercury is only metal that is liquid at room temperature. Compounds. A compound is a substance composed of two or more elements, chemically combined with one another in a fixed proportion. What do we get when two or more elements are combined? That's activity 2.10. So here is a method for separating a mixture of iron fillings and sulfur powder and check for magnetism in the material obtained. So let's check out the activity. Iron and sulfur are two different elements. That's iron is a metal and sulfur, here powder, it's a non-metal. So in a china dish, add small quantity of iron and sulfur so that we will get a heterogeneous mixture. Let's check out in detail. Iron here, sulfur, and this is the iron and sulfur mixture. So, in a china dish, add small quantity of iron and sulfur and we will get a heterogeneous mixture. Here, iron and sulfur mixture. Now, we are going to heat it. So, after heating, we get a black substance. That is, after heating, it has changed into a compound of iron sulfide, that is FeS. After heating, it's a black substance. That's a compound of iron sulfide. Now, the components of a mixture retain their own physical properties, while in a compound, they show different properties. So, let us classify iron and sulfur mixture as part A, compound of iron sulfide as part B. Now, let's check out can we separate the components of the mixture and compound using a magnet. So, iron is present in mixture and compound both, but only, so observe here, in case of mixture, we can separate the iron from sulfur. So, when we bring first in part B, when we bring a magnet above part B, we cannot observe any changes because of the new substance iron sulfide. At the same time, when we bring magnet over part A, you can see the iron can be separated from sulfur. So here part A is a mixture and part B is a compound. So here the fillings stand up but the sulfur does not. This is because iron fillings are attracted to the magnet but sulfur is not. This proves that mixture can be separated by physical means. So here part A mixture and here no change in part B, it's a compound. Now let's check out by adding carbon disulfide. Now, add some mixture from part A in a test tube and add few drops of carbon disulfide to it and shake it and stir well. We can observe iron will settle down and sulfur will dissolve in carbon disulfide, but reappear after some time. It proves that part A is a mixture. Now, add part B with carbon disulfide and stir well. No change in part B means it's a compound. Next, now add mixture of part A with dilute hydrochloric acid and using a bend tube, we can collect the hydrogen gas over here. So what happens? When the part A mixture, when it reacts with the dilute hydrochloric acid, we can get the hydrogen gas and it is collected through a bent pipe tube in another test tube. So how can we test the presence of hydrogen gas? When you bring a lid splint over here, the mouth of the test tube, you'll hear the pop-up sound. Now, part B. When solid iron fillings are added to dilute hydrochloric acid and then iron chloride or ferrous chloride is formed with the liberation of hydrogen gas. So we have seen that. That is, iron plus hydrochloric acid gives iron chloride plus hydrogen gas. Next, here, take copper sulfate in a test tube and add little amount of part B along with hydrochloric acid in another test tube. Now, connect with the bend pipe so that iron sulfide reacts with hydrochloric acid and produces hydrogen sulfide. Here the gas is hydrogen sulfide, and here we can see the precipitate of copper sulfate, and the copper sulfate reacts with hydrogen sulfide and forms copper sulfide plus sulfuric acid. So we can conclude that compounds possess different properties as the elements they are made up of and cannot be physically separated, while mixtures possess the properties of the elements that they are made up of and can be physically separated. Matter exists in solid, liquid or gas, pure substance, mixtures, no fixed composition. Elements, pure substance are classified as elements and compounds. Mixtures, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Elements cannot be broken down to simpler substances. Example, copper, oxygen, iron, hydrogen, mercury, etc. Compounds have fixed composition, can be broken down into elements by chemical or electrochemical reactions. For example, water, methane, sugar, salt, etc. Mixtures, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous, uniform composition. Heterogeneous, non-uniform composition. Uniform composition, homogeneous, for example, sugar in water, salt in water, sulfur in carbon disulfide, water and alcohol, etc. Non-uniform composition, for example, sand and salt, sugar and salt, wood, blood, water in oil, etc. So, that's about the chapter, Is Matter Around Us Pure? Thank you.